Welcome to the College of Wealth podcast, the ultimate financial guide to help you understand your financial stresses and how you can build from it. Your lessons won't be in class, and your projects can either save you or earn you money. We host episodes 2 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays to help you reach your financial freedom. Now let's get started with your hosts, Owen, Paradis, and William Goulet.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Owen Paradis. I'm here with my co-host, William Goulet, and we're proud to present to you the College of Wealth podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah, this is the College of Wealth podcast. We call this a financial podcast that teaches you the latest and greatest information about money, because at the end of the day, this is a crazy money-making world.
You know, money making, well, I guess it is a weekday, so I've made money, you've made money.
Yes.
And crazy, actually, you know what? Today wasn't too crazy. A little bit of, no, you know what? It was definitely crazy today.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
You can't get away from it, so you know what? I agree.
So we'd like to go and say, although it is a crazy money-making world, but we talk about money on this podcast. We give an FYI to our listeners that this is for entertainment purposes only.
Okay,
it's only
so
meant to inform.
It is to entertain.
Okay, yeah.
And at the same time, though, I like the information that we provide. I think it's value. It's valuable.
Okay, yeah.
You're quite resourceful, actually. So I think
you.
we should consider that as part of our spiel in the intro.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, instead of saying it's for entertainment purposes only, I think we should say entertainment and informational purposes, but that doesn't sound too cute, let's call it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we should mix the words together in an ultimate mashup. I'm thinking something like infotainment. What do you think?
I like it. It's good.
I think it's the way to go.
It is good. It is good. All I was thinking of is putting in a blender and it spits out the word infotainment.
This is the blender here.
Well, it's an awesome way to say it, because at the College of Wealth podcast, we like to go and call it infotainment, because both Will nor myself are financial advisors. We are not financial advisors.
Well, certainly not me, anyways.
Me either.
That's true.
But we did get our bachelor's degree in business, and we work in the business field. So I'm just kind of saying that just to validate the fact that we have a passion for this kind of stuff.
Our interest for business and making money is valid in the Gen Z sense.
But our interests go beyond that too, for 2 particular reasons.
Well,
what are those 2s?
Yeah. If you'll allow me to jump in, I'd like to pitch into this part. You know, it's a crazy money-making world. Check.
Yeah.
But if you're not making money, well, you need to have other interests to tune into this podcast. Mm-hmm. In our case, we love to save money.
I like it. I was worried because I was like, is he just throwing out it out now? And
no,
I was
no way, man.
Oh, thank God.
You know, I got to keep people on their toes, including you. You're part of the people that have to keep on your toes.
Yes, exactly. Now, before we hop into episode 115, we got to go and talk about a little bit of a preemptive. If you haven't done so already, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. That'd be greatly appreciated. If you like visuals or anything like that, to go see our faces, we're very animated people. Go and check us out on YouTube at College of Wealth Podcast. Subscribe to us, give us a like, or check us out on Instagram as well, where we post regularly. Good content.
Amazing. I couldn't have said it better myself. Or quicker.
I don't like to waste too much time there with everyone here, but that's just a little bit of a preemptive of that we're available on many platforms.
That was almost ironic. You're like, I don't like to waste people's time, but it's something that I like to do. Is a little bit of a preemptive before getting into the episode. it started dragging
on there. But without further ado, we're going to hop into episode 115.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little quiz. It's not really a quiz, but it's things that you should consider if you want to be in real estate.
Okay.
Should you be in real estate?
Yeah. Well, should I, Owen?
You specifically, I think you are the furthest person from being eligible to go into real estate.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm tuning in to the College of Wealth podcast.
I'd be very disappointed if you learned nothing from your family about real estate growing up,
Or from the podcast, honestly. I've learned a lot here too.
The way we have it broken down is the stats to start off with, obviously.
Statman, of course.
And then we have four different traits you should be looking out for, or that you should acquire to be good in real estate.
Okay.
Like looking for the right deals and everything like that.
Okay, yeah. Makes
Not
sense.
to be a real estate agent. I found so many things about what you should be doing as a real estate agent. No, we're not looking to be a real estate agent. We're looking to be buyers of homes here.
Yeah, no doubt.
Of
Honestly.
property.
And make that income. And what's
Yes.
nice is some of it can be passive.
Yes.
And some of it, well, there's multiple ways that you can add value to it. That's the nice part.
Now our first stat comes in here. We're gonna have to dive right into the stats.
Let's dive right in. Statman.
And I'd like to ask you, Will, what percentage of realtors are women?
I'm guessing there's... oh my. It seems like there's lots of guys, but it also seems like there's lots of women. I'm going to say 50-50.
You're gonna say 50-50.
Yep. I'm going for it.
Try 65%.
That's more than I thought, but I think I still hold on that I was directionally correct.
Directionally correct.
Sure.
I was very surprised, honestly, but I thought of it as women do a really, really good job at presenting in real estate. And if you know how to sell, you are golden.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's interest based, but you're right. There is you do, when you think of industries, you do think that real estate agent industry it has a lot more women in it.
For sure.
Right on.
Our second stat, though, we were talking about gender.
Yeah.
Now we're going to be talking about age. What is the median age of a realtor in the United States?
Okay. Median. Let's
Median.
go.
That is 50% of the people are above this and 50% are below.
31.
You're on the wrong track. 52
Really?
years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's mostly what you see online, because of social media and all that. You'll tend to see mostly younger people, so I guess that's my bias.
they're more active online and everything like that. But also, you also need to consider the fact that these people are established. They have a huge repertoire as well, and there's a lot of inactive real estate agents.
Oh,
and
yeah, great point.
The vast majority of people who are above 50 years old are active real estate agents if they're not retired.
Yeah, true.
And if they are active, they have a huge client base.
True. Very true. Well, yeah, and so many people must be just renewing their license just to keep it, right?
Well, just in my town, actually, a little bit of a fun fact for you, Will, and in general they came out with stats about just the town that I live in.
Yeah.
That there was I think 308 real estate agents before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I think it went up to 450.
Wow, that's 50% increase.
Yes.
Amazing.
And it shows you, just shows you how many people are jumping into it. But they're also jumping in at the hottest times.
Well, it was very enticing because people are like, okay, well, pandemic, you're staying home. It's time to improve yourself. Mm-hmm. And good to hear that people are making it, taking advantage of it. Which actually, speaking of taking advantage of it, I'd like to bring in the quote of the day.
Okay.
And the quote of the day, let's see if you can guess who I'm quoting. His nickname is The Greatest. And he's an athlete. He's known as The Greatest.
Usain Bolt.
No, it's not Usain Bolt. Okay, it's Muhammad Ali.
Oh my gosh! I actually literally saw a video of of Muhammad Ali and what was his name?
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
Those two together, man. Yeah,
it's impressive.
They're amazing.
But you're saying?
Yeah, so Muhammad Ali says, one of his famous quotes is, "Don't count the days, make the days count." And that's what we saw people doing during the pandemic, right? And the 50% increase in real estate agents speaks for that right away.
That's so good. I really, really like that. Really, really well played on words.
Inspirational, man.
Very inspirational. I very well said. I am speechless to that.
Flabbergasted,
I am
baby.
flabbergasted with that saying.
Yes.
That's all I don't know what to say. I'm going to have to use that one.
I can't believe I got a flabbergasting with the quote of the day. I'm really happy about that.
It doesn't happen often.
No, I think it's the first time. More to come.
Exactly. So our third stat is about the DIY market.
Mm-hmm.
What is the value of the DIY market according to Statista in 2019?
Oh, must be American or...
Yes, US dollar.
I'm going to say DIY market must be something like... I'm going to say crazy number. $800 million.
$800 million.
Yeah.
You were about to throw in a B in there, and that would have been the better guess, because it's $413.5 billion.
Whoa, I guess it depends what you include in DIY, but... No, well, I guess since you're bringing it up in a real estate episode, it probably includes all of that. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. Directionally incorrect, let's call it.
And our last stat, this one I thought was borderline flabbergasting.
Okay.
And there are stats, according to, I will get the information here, according to RoomView, about the real estate agents per capita, so per 10,000 people.
Oh, okay.
And the top city with the most amount of real estate agents per 10,000
New York City.
No, in Canada.
Oh, in Canada. Okay.
Yeah, Langley, BC.
Oh, yeah, BC.
Did you want to take a guess on how many real estate agents per 10,000 there?
I'm gonna say something like 100. So 100.
Try 1,653 per 10,000.
Oh my goodness! And who's buying everything? That's crazy, man.
The real estate agents are buying from each other.
Yeah, well, it must be. Oh, you know what? I do know there's lots of foreign investments going on in BC.
That's a good point.
With that being said, it makes sense that the ratio is so disproportionately high. It's not about the inhabitants. It's about the real estate just being sold in general.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
But another stat, we were talking about the top, but what is the lowest amount of real estate agents per capita? Well, I'm going to say flat out, it's Halifax.
That was my guess.
Was it?
No.
Well, it's Halifax. And did you want to take a guess how many per 10,000?
8?
Close. 11.
11? Oh, you know what? Okay, there you go. That's my one stat that I actually got half decent today.
One city that I was very, very surprised by that has extremely low real estate agents is Ottawa.
Really?
Ottawa has 20 per 10,000.
Really? Huh.
I was very, very surprised.
Good opportunity for the capital of the country.
Of Canada.
Yeah.
But we don't know the market itself there. We also don't know the laws in Ottawa. The laws of selling in Ottawa vary from city to city.
Sure.
But it's a huge thing. I was like, wow, that's huge. I would not have expected.
Yeah, well, you'd expect that the capital might have lots of people trying to get in there, and actually that might do some good to the place as well. The more real estate agents that there are, the more there's mingling activities, the more that there's Like you want more and more salespeople in your town. You know,
Yeah.
say, hey, this is beautiful, and you could spice it up with this, that, giving people ideas. You know.
Yep. Yeah, so I thought it was very, very interesting to say that. Oddly enough, my hometown, or my town that I live in right now, comes in second at 15.
15 per 10,000.
But I'm sure it's gone up, so like we were saying.
Well, 50%, I guess, right?
It's gone up to 30 if we look at it. Maybe, yeah, about that there. From 15 probably around to 25.
Yeah, something like that. No, well, and population must have grown too during the pandemic, because you saw people from down south moving up north saying, okay, let's just go for affordable housing. If I can if I can work from anywhere, I'm not going to pay these rent prices down here, man.
So our first segment, like remember, like I said here, we got 4 segments with 4 different points per
Yes.
each of them. So our first segment, and I think this is the most important trait to have when you are looking to purchase real estate, if you're fit for real estate, is knowledgeable about the market you're interested in.
Oh yes,
you need to,
true.
You
Not just
can't
about...
just invest.
Yeah. No, you can't just dump your money in there. Actually, well, there are ways that you can just dump your money in there, but to get the returns that everyone's raving about for investments, research. I'd say not only about how to do it, but you're right. The market, specifically the market that you're targeting.
Exactly, and the first point I have to say in regards to it is each market will have different revenue models. So real estate in Toronto is more appreciation based, versus a smaller town may have return, like a monthly return rate.
Cash flow.
Yeah, cash flow. So your monthly cash flow is what's generating you money, versus a place like Toronto, Vancouver, New York, California, or any type of big city. You're expecting the properties to go up in value in the long run.
Well, I remember you and I were following the same guy, Graham Stephan, a real estate agent in LA and YouTuber. And he was saying that what's weird now is you're starting to see strategies where people are buying negative cash flow, saying, I don't care. I know it's going to go up by crazy amounts. And they're saying, I'm buying this. I'm losing money monthly every month. I'm going to keep injecting money into it despite it all. But I know it's going to be huge upside on the resale.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely true. And he even said like that was his platform, and he purchased his these homes in the crash of 2008, 2009 for $200,000. Imagine buying properties for $200,000 in LA. Like,
yeah, wow,
he didn't even, he wouldn't have had to, he did some renovations, but he wouldn't have had to do nothing, and he made money.
If I told you today, Owen, that there was a $200,000 house in LA, you'd probably say, "Okay, I'll buy it." Yeah.
I think you'd be scamming me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's how ridiculous it is. Our second point to this too is not only are you looking at the markets, but you got to look at the type of properties you want to invest in as well. Are you looking for duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes? How many tenants do you want? Do you even want tenants? Or what type of tenants are you looking for? Are you trying to purchase commercial property? Are you trying to do an in-law suite? Because there's a difference between an in-law suite and just a flat-out duplex.
True.
So you need to look at the.
And I think there's different types of tenants as well. Are you gonna target, let's say, workers? And are you going to try and rent to a company that'll get their workers in there? That might be a good strategy for someone who buys an entire house. And they'll say, sure, there's multiple bedrooms in here. I can rent it out to a company. Their company flies in people, and they get to stay at this residence. You know, that's something you might consider. Yep.
And it's an awesome way of looking at it if you're looking to, accommodate people like that, especially in our areas with mining being such a big thing. There's such thing as fly in, fly out type of mines
right
north of where we are. So people end up purchasing or renting properties here just so they could stay in a town that has an airport.
Well, I know that in a city in northern Quebec, they're flying in mechanics just to do regular work
Wow.
because there's not enough residents to actually perform the job.
That's
And
crazy.
and in one of the towns up north, one of the big mining towns that you know, there's a hotel that's operating just outside of town where that's their bread and butter. They're
It's
targeting
just,
workers.
they rely on that.
And it's always full of workers, and they just clean. They have a bigger cleaning fee, but that's fine because you have constant workers coming in.
I bet you they have a partnership with the mine itself.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure.
Now, our third point, though, is if you want to stay informed, especially if you're in Canada, I didn't really look at it in the United States, but look at the Korea monthly reports. And they also have, and if you haven't done so, look at the monthly reports for your city as well that you're interested in.
True.
This
Yeah.
Toronto has them, Vancouver has them, and then like the real estate reports in Canada is called CREA, so the Canadian Real Estate Association, and they'll have the major cities as well.
And similar to that, I'm sure the provincial associations are also creating
yes.
those reports. So
Exactly, and it all depends on how micro you want to go. And like if you want to look at specific provinces, which ones are better to invest in, or if you want to look at specific cities, they're going to be able to give you that information. Like I was able to say it in prior episodes, the town that I live in went from a value of 507,000 down to 443,000.
Yeah.
447,000 average price for a single dwelling home.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have an idea of what's going on. Toronto going down an estimated of up to 45%.
That's wicked, man. I by the end of 2023, right? I remember that one pretty
yes,
well.
by the end of 2023, correct.
Yeah.
And our last point to say here is to look at more than one piece of information. That goes for any type of research that you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're speaking to a real estate agent, I don't care who you're talking to, almost every real estate agent is going to tell you it's a good time to buy.
Yeah.
And
Are you kidding me? Now, there's less people in the market that are looking to buy. Even though there might be a tendency for prices to go down, they'll say, well, this means that there's less people that are actively buying. Therefore, you can get what you want, Sales guys will always have their own way.
But there is a factor of realism to what they're saying. If you're
Sure.
planning to purchase a property for the long run, don't care about what the market is doing right now, because you'll be fine.
Yeah, more like attribute a lesser weight to what's going
Yes.
on right now.
Yes. Yeah, a lesser weight, exactly. Like, especially with what's been going on the last 2 years, it's been very, very interesting to see what's happening. And I've even seen some of these people saying, maybe right now is not the best time if you're looking to do a quick turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always a positive spin to no matter what market you're in.
Yeah, a spin is exactly it's a word that's not as used as anymore as much as it used to be. But if you're talking to someone who's pessimistic, go look at information that's optimistic, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And vice.
Well, yeah, just so you can create an unbiased perspective of the city that you're looking to invest in, the community, the section of town that you're looking in. Mm-hmm. Those will be able to give you a better idea of what's happening.
If you're talking to sellers, go listen to buyers, see what they're saying. And it's like that for almost any type of information.
And
try to look for the opposite; it'll get you the most informed.
And also, like I said, I'm not discrediting real estate agents, because there are still quite a few real estate agents that care about informing you the correct way.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt.
They'll tell you how it is, and I know some real estate agents that, they'll tell you flat out, this isn't the right property for you, or this is not a good time to buy on the market. Maybe you should wait. Maybe you should keep an outlook in the next 6 months. They're upfront about that, so don't discredit real estate agents. That's what I'm saying here.
Yeah, and one thing that I'd like to add is you just don't know if that agent's telling you the whole truth or not.
Yeah.
That's why you want to do preventative research. Let's
Yeah.
call it.
Perfect way to say it. And our second segment here is to be the second segment or second trait that you should be carrying when you're if you are good at keeping a keen eye on real estate is to be a realistic opportunist.
Okay, that sounds nice. Yeah, that sounds like a nice.
And the reason why I'm saying this is there's such thing as being an opportunist and being realistic.
Okay,
if you're being real.
Yeah, how do you mean opportunist?
Someone who takes advantage of opportunities that are placed in front of them, because but being an opportunist, like being flat out opportunist, is not a good thing either. Because if I looked at every single real estate duplex that was on the market right now, income opportunity and making income, don't have to worry about rent or anything like that. Your renters are going to be paying. It's like, all right, there, calm down. Yeah. And then you look at the property, it's like $350 or let's say $450,000, $500,000, and it's run down and it's out. It was last updated in 1950 there.
I think what's nice to note too is if someone's owned the property for a long time, they've already made so many payments on it. Everything, the operating costs are so much lower. So they're looking at their operational costs and they're saying, "Oh, we can bring it all the way up to this level, and we can sell it at this level." And then as soon as a buyer starts doing this math, it's like, this makes no sense. There's no room for anything here.
But again, like opportunity, like one of the real estate agents I follow shared a guy who timed the market really well in my city, and basically I don't know if I should say where I live. I really don't care, honestly. At this point, I live in Sudbury, Ontario. It's not the end of the world, but this person purchased from out of town and purchased the property for $350,000.
Yeah.
Ended up doing $70,000 in renovations and sold the property for $590,000.
Oh wow,
that is an insane return, and amazing for them. They saw an opportunity in a market that that was lacking at the time, and did a return, and good for them.
And
they studied the market.
This is a bit of a tangent, but it's really related to it. The way that people calculate the return on their investment, a common mistake in real estate, they'll say, "I bought it at $350,000 plus $70,000, so that's $420,000. Sold at $590." No, that's not the way that you do it. It's what cash did you put down, right? Yeah. So let's say that $350,000. I'm just going to say a round number. Let's say you put $90,000 down payment.
Yeah.
Well, it's $90,000 plus $70,000, and then whatever profits left, you divide that. And people often make the mistake of including the full purchase price, but that's not the truth. It goes beyond that.
Well, it's an awesome way, like an awesome thing that you pointed out there, because it talks about our first point to this segment here.
Oh, great!
And are some rules to look at when you're looking at being a realistic opportunist. Mm-hmm. And the first one is to use the 1% rule.
Oh, yes.
And that one is you look at your annual expenses, your mortgage payments, your taxes, and any type of expenses that come into purchasing the home. Mm-hmm. And rent should be no less than 1% of all that, of the monthly. No less than 1%.
Oh, I always thought that the purchase price, the 1% rule being 1% of the purchase price should be approximately your
that works too. That works too. But this is basically looking at your yearly, monthly mortgage, so your mortgage payments, mm-hmm. your annual expenses, your taxes, everything included, and then 1% of that.
Okay.
Which it still works out to being around the same thing. We're just saying instead of using the total cost of your purchase price, you're using the mortgage payment.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Our second ratio you could look at is we were talking about the 1% rule.
Mm-hmm.
This one here is called the 50% rule.
I thought you were going to say 99% rule.
No. So in this case here, the 50% rule is basically allocate half of your gross income
Yeah.
by your rental property should go towards operating expenses.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And this is to avoid underestimating your expenses itself. This isn't not while you're happening, but just a gauge to understand what type of expenses you'll be faced with.
Yeah, true. No, honestly.
A lot of people tend to underestimate the expenses. And if you come in with a higher expectation of what you're going to be paying, the burn is not going to be as bad.
Yeah, and that's part of important due diligence, you know, like
yes.
When you're purchasing a property, due diligence is time to do paperwork, review paperwork, and make sure that the numbers add up. Because if you're a seller, you want your expenses to look as low as possible and your revenue to look as high as possible. Revenue is hard to fake, but expenses, you can always tuck things away, you know?
Exactly. Yes, it's true.
So a neat trick for that is, depending on how it's done, you ask someone to look at their taxes. Because for their taxes, they're going to try and maximize their expenses to pay the least amount of taxes.
That's a good point.
That keeps them honest, right? And the odds that they want to lie to the tax man are a lot lower.
Yeah, you don't want to be messing around with the tax man there.
Yeah.
Our third point to this here is if you want to go and get to be a realistic opportunist, watch YouTube videos and watch what you want to look out what they look out for. And at that point you'll be able to say, oh well, there's cracks in the foundation, or there's the shingles need to be changed. Knowing what to ask when, and especially with what happened in the last year where you couldn't even have a home inspection done.
That was brutal.
You could look at you could take a quick look at what that is on your own.
Yeah.
And this is a good way, like just by YouTube, again, doing your research and just being able to see approximately what the renovation costs. I'll say the not so fun renovations. There's fun renovations and not so fun.
Yeah. Painting walls, maybe redoing the countertop.
Buying
in the kitchen.
new cabinets. That's fun renovation.
Yeah.
You get to see it physically. But but shingles, plumbing,
structural,
heating, structural. That is not fun. not so fun renovation.
Yeah, aesthetics versus function, I guess. It's something like that.
It does, and that kind of stuff doesn't even increase your cost. Doesn't even increase your. It doesn't increase your property value. It only maintains it.
Unless if you purchase with that in mind.
Yes.
And that you negotiated that, and which,
correct, by
the way, is something that you can do. If you do a tentative offer and then you do your inspection, you could say, okay, look, well, I looked at it, we went through the property and we noticed this here, which it wasn't declared, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, so I'd like whatever, I'm just naming a number, $80,000 discount because I'm going to have to redo the foundation, or, you know.
It's actually funny you bring that up because I have a friend who dealt with, I think we brought this up on the podcast before. He purchased a home 2 years ago. In the midst of the pandemic, like before everything was getting heated. And he purchased the home and they said that the retaining wall was falling, and the retaining wall was not going into his property. It was going into the other person's property, like the backyard person's property.
Oh no.
And it was more like a 6 to 8 foot wall. It was a large retaining wall, and it was slowly collapsing. And it was one of those things where they said it was in the paperwork indicating that once this property is sold, it needs to be, it's going to be it has to be fixed within X amount of time. Well, he was not aware of this, and he went and said, he added a contingency saying, this deal is not going through until A, you give me a discount, $15,000-$20,000 discount, or you're doing it yourself.
Right.
I think it was something like that, and I think it was that. It ended up costing the buyer or the sellers it was anywhere between $15,000 and $30,000 to fix this retaining wall.
Oh wow!
It was a huge fix.
That's one of the advantages sometimes of hiring professionals.
Yes.
If you have your professionals working together, who are the professionals? Inspectors, lawyers, real estate agents. Those are the people that can assist you in your purchase and spot things like that and fight for you, right?
Mm-hmm. And actually, since we're talking about this, it brings us to our third segment.
Oh, right.
And I was talking about my friend, and he had the guts to do this.
Okay.
And it shows that he's not qualified, but he's capable of handling this kind of stuff. But it's very important to know how to negotiate.
Yes.
And I mean, we had an entire episode on negotiating on Thursday.
Yeah.
And this works the same for for real estate as well.
True.
If you don't know how to negotiate, learn how to do it. Learn to be comfortable, because it's going to pay you dividends. Not only, like I said, not only for real estate, but for salaries, but for buying used stuff, but for anything in general. It's going to help you out immensely.
It's like saying, if you learn to negotiate today, I'll give you, your example that you gave last Thursday, I'll give you $400,000 at the end of your life, or at the end of your career.
Yes.
Okay, I'll learn negotiating today. Fine, for $400,000, that's fine. And that's just salary that we're talking about. So, yeah, huge impact.
Huge. Our first point in regards to it is the obvious point here. If you don't learn to negotiate and you don't learn to stand up to these scenarios, you'll end up paying more in the long run. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, my friend had contingencies about that retaining wall. Well, he would have had to have paid what he paid for the house, plus got that retaining wall done automatically.
Which one of the things is the bank will tell you can borrow up to X amount, and if you're maxing that out, you don't have money to fix that retaining wall.
Yeah, it's true. And you're maxed out. You gotta throw that in as a contingency.
Yeah.
Our second point, it goes still with our first point here. If you're still really scared about doing that, learn to go and deal with a real estate agent, because they're the middlemen or middle people.
Yeah.
They're the ones who transmit that information.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with the seller face to face unless they're people that you know or anything like that. This is a time to go and take advantage of real estate agents' position.
True. Yeah, honestly.
Our second point, though, is if you learn to negotiate, your real estate agent as well will learn about what you want and your habits as well.
Okay, how does habits work into
so
that?
I say habits in regards to, if you're purchasing a lot of properties of any kind, they'll already know what type of offer you're going to be willing to put down.
Oh yes.
It's like, okay, well, my budget's $350. Well, I know that Owen, or I know that Will, he does not go over $350,000, and if I give him $360, he's going to put in an offer for $350.
Yeah.
And with contingencies of any kind or any, so they're able to learn what type of person you are when you negotiate. If you just go and say, okay, cool, they don't really know. All they know is you're willing to pay asking price. So,
and they can't serve you best if you. It's not just about negotiating; it's also communicating. What your wants and needs are.
They're not the one buying the property. You are.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to. It's not something that I like to openly advertise, but it's true that buyers don't pay commissions.
Oh
right?
No, that's yeah.
So it's an advantage if someone's interested in the market. Get yourself a real estate agent for the buying portion. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have no risk. They're going to go out and they're doing work for you. They're looking out for your deals according to your criteria.
Yep.
And best practice is if you do a deal with a real estate agent upon buying, it's best practice to sell with that real estate agent too. Loyalty goes a long way, even in the real estate market.
I agree. Could not agree more with that. And our third point in regards to this segment is to come in with an open mind. You get to figure out some of the traits about the sellers as well. Yeah. I've seen some shady stuff. Like I said, my parents wanted to purchase a house, and it had literally everything fully furnished. They were moving out. I think this was years ago, close to a decade ago, and they were putting in over asking. And I remember the bank calling, asking, "Why are you putting an offer higher than asking?"
Yeah.
Oh, like that's yeah, how rare it is. Yeah, when the bank calls, and my stepdad, I remember, had to explain the situation. Oh, okay. And the sellers, I remember my parents put an offer, and it was a fairly obscure offer. Mm-hmm. And the winning bid came in at something like $500 more than what they did, or $1,000 more. And I'm just putting a number out here, and it wasn't the case, but they put an offer for $36,500.
Yeah.
And it was like something like $62,000 or $62,500 over asking. So it's totally obscure. Yeah. But the winning bid was $337,500. It's like, there was some shady crap going on here. The sellers were involved, and there was some real estate agents who were doing some shady crap here.
Yeah, an agent who was going, well, I can't give you a number. And then they go, like, they'll say, okay, well, am I around? And they go, like, maybe higher.
Well, that's exactly what. And my parents were bummed out about it. But you get to figure out how the sellers are as well, and you get an idea. You can't figure out the type of sellers they are if you don't negotiate.
Yeah, honestly, it's true.
I have a friend who, like, their parents are selling right now, and the offer literally came in at, I think, something like $60,000 or $80,000 under asking.
Wow.
Well, they said no. We're flat out refusing that.
Yeah.
But who knows? Some people who are in an absolute hurry might go and say, "Screw it, we'll take the blow."
I got a will point that I want to add.
Yep.
Be patient.
Yes.
If you get a counter offer, you can counter offer as many times as you want. There's no limit to it. So you can go back and forth plenty of times with the seller. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. You're just representing your needs best, and so are they. You often think, oh, well, if we can't get along in the first 2-3 offers, maybe it's not for us. No. You keep chasing that. If you want it and you think you have the right price, you keep fighting for it.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That's great for negotiation in general.
Yep. And actually, one last point in regards to this here, an awesome way to win a negotiation is to be able to come out as a win-win scenario.
Yes.
Whether it be, it's like, we aren't going to go and we are going to give you the asking price, and we're gonna. I know you were going to throw in the ATVs or something like that. So totally obscure there. You throw in the ATVs, but I know that you're also like. They may be moving as well. You can keep them. So that's like, you know what? We like those ATVs. It's a bit of a win-win here. We get the asking price. We get the asking price. We get the property. You get to keep the ATVs as well. So it's a win-win. So everyone is happy. It's a different scenario if you're trying to force a deal at that point, and they're just going to flat out say, no, we're not interested.
Yeah. Yeah, and a win-win situation is always the best point, because there's no resentment, and they're not going to try and, pardon my language, they're not going to try and screw you on the back end of the deal, right?
Yes. Unfortunately, perfectly said.
Yeah, well, because there is the front end and the back end of the deal while your lawyers figure out the details and real estate agent, and that's a second battleground.
Oh, my God, yes. And yeah, if you're able to get a win-win scenario, it'll make it a lot more natural for them to say yes instead of doing a begrudgingly yes type of scenario, which is going to make the transaction a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, working at the speed of trust. I think that's what Franklin Covey calls
Yes,
it.
yes.
It's also a Brian Griffin book, At the Speed of Love or something like that.
Oh my
for Family
gosh.
Guy.
Oh Lord. So our last segment, and this is a huge one that you should probably learn to do over time. That is to learn how to fix things on your own. And if you don't, have contacts. Be a handy person or have contacts for that kind of thing.
You got to have one or the other.
Oh, yes.
Because you can't just be reaching out to a business and saying, okay, business, I would like to do this. Having friends, having a friend who's a handyman who can help you out, even with advice, you know.
Yeah.
With my family, I know my dad did a lot of work.
Yes.
But we also have a member of the family who has expertise in, let's say, roofing. I'm just making something up.
Yeah.
And it's, call them up and say, well, how should I go about doing this for roofing? Oh, well, careful. You got to follow these rules and all that so it'll pass inspection. Great,
sure.
Fine, I'll do that. So it's really handy doing that. Modern day trick, YouTube. You can learn how to do a bunch of this.
My dad literally built, he renovated his entire basement up to code with just YouTube.
Wonderful.
Tiling, grouting, everything like that. He installed because he lives in a flood-prone zone, he installed the pump and the backup pump and everything like that. And it was a big project, but he did it by himself.
You know, since we're talking about DIY and we were talking about markets in the first segment.
Yeah.
It's important to know what regulations for doing your own work is in different markets. In Quebec, specifically in Quebec, it's very, very strict where one laborer can't do the labor of another association. So and sometimes it's even if they touch their tool, it could be a fine, it could be this, and it's extremely, extremely strict. And in some cases, landlords can't perform work on their own property. If it's a income-producing property, sometimes they can't even do work. So it's very protective, and you got to watch out for that.
That's a really good point. I like that. It's really good things to look out at in these cases. But I got a ratio for this one here, and this is according to rentgrace.com. And they say that you should be saving approximately 8.3% of your rental income for repairs itself.
Oh, 8.3.
Yep.
Very nice. I've always seen estimations go from 4 to 6, but I guess that's people who are trying to sell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is I also found some stats about saving money for DIY. Things that you might not have to worry about. So this is according to moneysense.ca.
Mm-hmm.
And things like picking up material.
Yeah.
You go and pick up your own material, you could save up to $250.
Oh, really? Okay, rather than getting it delivered.
Well, yeah. If you get the, let's say, the construction company or whatever to go pick up the equipment, that's time for them, and that's being billed. That adds up very quickly.
True.
Prepping up a work site, making sure it's nice and clean.
Yeah.
For construction.
Yeah.
That can delay their work significantly. Mm-hmm. And there is no such thing as grace. It took them an extra 2 hours. They're going to bill you for it
except if you're Owen working in contract.
Yeah.
You're totally right. And we talked about negotiations. Same thing. Are you buying an appliance from a store? Ask them if they can throw in delivery. You know, it goes both ways, and that's the advantage of being able to negotiate too. You can win on the buying end, on the selling end. You can it's little wins everywhere that add up to a huge number.
Most definitely. I got some more stats in regards to this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Removing carpets. They say if you typically pay someone to do it, could be up to $50 an hour for 2 to 4 hours. If it's a fully carpeted house, I would assume it'd be even more.
Sure.
And you could save, they say $100 to $200. I'm going to guess if you have a fully carpeted house, like in the 70s, you're going to be paying you're going to be paying significantly more.
Yeah, great point. And if it's the whole house, you should consider doing it because you're going to apply it to the whole house. So your learning time actually it helps you to save a lot more, right?
I did it for my dad's basement, and it wasn't rocket science by any means to remove carpet.
Yeah, well, that first cut, you're like, okay, what am I doing? Am I going too deep? What am I doing? But once you figure it out, you get a routine going, and boom, you're good to go.
A more expensive cost: removing hardwood. That could cost anywhere between $250 and $500, and I could assume that could be significantly more.
Yeah, honestly.
And this is something I kind of got good at. Thank my mom, because when we built our house, we saved on that. My mom is artsy with that. But painting rooms, they could be anywhere between $650 plus for a room.
Yeah. And
you could save up to $400 to $500 a room that you decide to paint yourself.
Yeah, true. Honestly,
it adds up very, very quickly. And I know as a kid, I was there. Like my parents' home, basement and main floor, probably approximately 5 bedrooms.
Okay,
so like three bedrooms upstairs, 2 bedrooms in the basement.
Yeah.
With an office room. So you could imagine how much painting we were doing.
Yeah.
But we saved probably anywhere between $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 doing it ourselves.
And remember, $4,000 in savings is worth about 5 to 6 of generating income.
Yeah.
So, right on.
Our last point in regards to this segment has to do with the fact that you see these shows all the time on TV, like the couples who flip houses and stuff like that. It's never one person; it's always a couple.
Right.
Whether it be brothers or whether it be friends or anything like that, it's always
a story.
Well, yeah, that too, that too. But having a second pair of eyes, having a second pair of trendy eyes for staging a property can give you maximum ROI.
True.
And it's huge. Like I was going to say this prior, but in this scenario, having having a staged apartment when you're about to rent it is going to be a lot easier to go and get it rented, especially if you're selling at a more expensive rental price compared to if you just keep it empty.
Yeah.
Staging is huge. I have to say it. Your mom is amazing for that.
Oh, yeah. No, she's fantastic. Yeah, she keeps up. She keeps up with a lot of it, right?
But she can do. She can put at a price that's still some on the higher side.
Yeah.
But she has it very detailed, really well displayed. And every time I see a listing of some sort for the properties that your parents have, there's like 20, 30, 40 likes and everything. No one's laughing at the price of the property because everyone's like, wow, that is definitely worth it.
It's a different value, right? And the advantage of staging is it also paints a picture for whoever might be renting. Someone like me, I can't picture a finished product. I can't picture what it's going to look like. You tell me, for those who are watching on YouTube, you tell me to paint this wall beige and imagine what that's going to look like. I can't imagine what it's going to look like. So you're totally right. Having a second pair of eyes, someone useful, someone that you know, or even just someone to consult, it's very valuable.
That's exactly it. And I got to give, I know that's going to be my girlfriend because she's up to date with that kind of stuff. She has like a really, really clean taste with everything.
Yeah.
She's moving in and already she purchased a bunch of stuff to quote unquote update my apartment and make it trendier.
So long as you're not getting rid of the light llama behind you.
No. She's not touching that, thankfully.
Owen setting ground rules. No one touches a light llama.
No, thankfully not there. So with that being said, that is episode 115. Should you be in real estate?
I think I should.
I think you should. I think we should.
Yeah.
And with that last statement, my name is Owen Paradis. I'm here with my co-host William Goulet, and we're proud to present to you the College of Wealth podcast. Peace.
This has been your daily dose of motivation with the College of Wealth podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to leave us a positive review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for listening, and until next episode.